Take a look at my script, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot to get to here today. We are following a breaking story overnight from ESPN, from Seth Wickersham, alluding to the tensions rising in Foxborough, particularly among three names: Robert Kraft, the owner; Bill Belichick, the head coach; and Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time. And when you have three egos going at it for so long, eventually friction can come about. So here's the deal. I'm going to walk through you all the story here from ESPN, top to bottom, in terms of the important nuggets here. So we'll start off with this. Quote, according to interviews with more than a dozen New England staffers, executives, players, and league sources with knowledge of the team's inner workings, the three most powerful people in the franchise, Belichick, Brady, and Robert Kraft, have had serious disagreements. Wickersham went on to say, those interviewed describe a palpable sense in the building that this might be the last year together for that powerful trio for the New England Patriots. Bombshell type of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And let me preface this discussion here with, look, the New England Patriots are a polarizing topic. We're going to get the loyalists out there for the New England Patriots just writing off this story, saying there isn't any truth to it because it's all based on anonymous sources. Well, here's my message to you, Patriots loyalists out there. The New York Times writes huge pieces out there that break stories and go on to the national discussion that are predicated on anonymous sources. So you mean to say that the New York Times, that puts together all that hard work to put these stories out there, is just essentially putting out fake stuff? And for all the Patriots haters out there that just jump on board with this and say, okay, the New England Patriots are not going to win Super Bowl 52, slow your roll too. Because this isn't going to be a damning piece for the New England Patriots and their hopes to win yet another Super Bowl. That is not going to be my argument here today. So for the loyalists out there and the automatic haters out there, let's not get too wild. Now, with that, this story is obviously groundbreaking because you're talking about the most consistent franchise in this millennium, the New England Patriots, at least in the NFL, and perhaps some tensions rising to a point where there could be cracks in this powerful trifecta. So let's walk through the story here. The tension started in September, the story goes, with Brady's trainer and close advisor Alex Guerrero, who aided Brady in writing his book, TB12. And many people in this story said that Tom Brady changed after that moment. So you remember for years, right? Tom Brady, the quarterback for the Patriots, did his job on the field and was a family man off the field. He was never necessarily a brand, shall we say. And then once TB12 happened, the release of the book, and Guerrero became a big-time influence in Tom Brady's life, Brady started to kind of use his image and sell himself a little bit. Why not? But players in the story, according to Seth Wickersham, said that Tom Brady changed. So Wickersham said, quote, it felt like a cult to others. One Patriots staffer says, the way TB12 began to creep into Brady's life worried people close to the quarterback, many of whom were suspicious of one Alex Guerrero. Quote, Tom changed, said a friend of Brady's. So this isn't just some water boy in the Patriots organization. This is a friend of Tom Brady. Continuing to say, that's where a lot of these problems started. So the first crack in the armor here is with Alex Guerrero and his influence on Tom Brady. Now, Bill Belichick originally, according to the story, put a lot of trust in Guerrero and gave him a lot of access to the team. And eventually, that got sour. And Bill Belichick did not like the influence that Guerrero had on Tom Brady because, number one, a lot of the players out there were like, what do we do when we're hurt and we're rehabbing? We need advice. Do we go to Guerrero or do we go to the team doctors? Belichick wanted players to go to the team doctors. Brady, of course, along the lines of Alex Guerrero and what he can do in terms of helping out the players. So that's point number one. And then point number two is the fact that, Bill Belichick thought that he was kind of getting blindsided by Alex Guerrero and his influence in the Patriots organization. Belichick thought he was doing the right thing by giving Guerrero a lot of access and influence and all this stuff, but he saw that perhaps there was going to be some sort of conflict here with his players. Belichick didn't like that. He wants cohesion. He wants organization. He wants structure. Guerrero was hurting that, according to this story. Now, continuing on here, Brady's influence grew after that Super Bowl victory over the Falcons, writes Wickersham. Quote, after another Super Bowl win, the Brady-led historic comeback from 28-3 to defeat the Atlanta Falcons, Brady's stature in the organization had grown to the point where he was considered management. So with the launch of TB12 and this growth of personal brand of Tom Brady, he essentially arbitrarily rose the ranks in the Patriots organization to the point where he was considered management and that he could influence personnel decisions. So eventually in September, Brady and Belichick had a meeting, the story goes, on Guerrero's reported pressure on players to rehab and train his way. But Brady didn't know what Belichick was talking about. And the two left the meeting without any resolution. Another crack in this story here in terms of the tensions that arose. As the season wore on, Brady got sick of Belichick's no pain, no gain type of style from a mental standpoint. And Wickersham notes, quote, Brady has become an advocate of positive thinking. Belichick's negativity had gotten old, Brady has told other Patriots players and staff. He feels he has accomplished enough that he shouldn't have to endure so much grief. Patriot staffers have noticed that this year more than ever, he seems to volley between unwavering confidence and driving insecurity. So you have the way in which Bill Belichick goes about his business, right? Now, the story goes that in some of these film sessions, Bill Belichick would call out Tom Brady, saying the high school quarterback for Foxborough could have made that throw. And Brady, as he became more of a positive thinker and fell in line with this TB12 type of ideology and that Alex Guerrero helped him get to, Brady was starting to push away at this whole Belichick type of style. And that created some frustration. So now comes the tensions here in this part with Brady and Garoppolo. Brady never felt like he needed to be an advisor to Jimmy G, that he had to teach anything to Garoppolo here under his wing, even coming down to something like footwork, according to Seth Wickersham here. So being the competitor Brady is, Jimmy G was essentially a threat, not an heir to his throne. So the story goes on, quote, 2 weeks before the November 1st trade deadline, Belichick met with Kraft to discuss the quarterback situation. The meeting ended with a clear mandate to Belichick. Trade Garoppolo because he would not be in the team's long-term plans. And then once again, find the best quarterback in the draft and develop him. Belichick was furious and demoralized, according to friends. One morning in late October, Belichick texted San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan and asked him to call. The rest is history there. We all know Jimmy G went out to the Bay Area and had a fantastic rest of the season with the 49ers going 5-0. But Bill Belichick was thinking long-term here. He was thinking about the Patriots' legacy after him. So he's thinking about what quarterback can I put in position after Tom Brady and create more wins for the New England Patriots franchise. That's what Belichick is thinking about, according to the story. All right, so really the kind of bottom line here is I'm utilizing Seth Wickersham's story to base all of this information. So Belichick is thinking long-term here. Meanwhile, you have Tom Brady who wants to play until his mid-40s. Whether that's realistic or not is another story, another discussion. But Robert Kraft, it seems as though, picked a side in this kind of conflict, went along with Tom Brady, Kraft wants the immediate gratification of Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowls, not thinking long term, not thinking about, 5, 7 years from now in terms of the Patriots' legacy. So Kraft says to Belichick, trade Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, there are some things swirling out there that Tom Brady asked Robert Kraft to essentially trade out and get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Seth Wickersham, the author of this piece, was on today this morning saying that is not true. So if you see anything out there that Tom Brady forced out a trade of Jimmy Garoppolo, that is not true. So what is interesting here is, so Jimmy G gets sent out to San Francisco, Bill Belichick is PO'd, and Robert Kraft gives Tom Brady exactly what he wants. And it's really a stunning quote here in the story saying that Tom Brady won. A close confidant to Brady said, Brady won this. So there was some sort of disagreement between Brady and Belichick in terms of how they see the future of the Patriots franchise. And of course, Brady wants the immediacy, right? He is the quarterback now. He wants to remain the quarterback in the future. Brady doesn't care about the next quarterback after him. But Belichick does and did. And that's why he wanted Jimmy G to stay in New England and to kind of be that next guy after Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't care what happens after him. He wants those Super Bowls. He wants to rack up as many as possible. Now, there have been conflicting reports here about the whole situation with the Patriots offering Jimmy G an extension and Jimmy G saying no. So here's the deal. Seth Wickersham's story said, quote, the Patriots repeatedly offered Garoppolo 4-year contract extensions in the $17 million to $18 million range annually that would go higher if and when he succeeded Brady. And Garoppolo and his agent, also Tom Brady's agent, by the way, Don Yee, rejected the offers out of hand for reasons that remain unclear. Now, Tom Curran, who covers the Patriots up in New England, said, quote, the Patriots never extended a new contract offer to Garoppolo. No question they discussed it and spitballed about what it would look like. Great pay as a backup, escalating to starter money when Brady left. But the offer was never formalized. Why? Because it was clear Garoppolo wasn't staying another year as backup. So we already have conflicting reports about this whole extension offer to Jimmy Garoppolo here. You have Seth Wickersham's side of the story, and you have Tom Curran's side of the story here. So there's one nugget just to kind of put aside here and just to think about. But in the end, folks, this is hardly a surprise. Think about it. These are 3 people who are perhaps the best at their respective jobs in the NFL right now, with years and years and years of success. These egos are going to grow. And eventually, these egos are going to collide. And when Tom Brady did the whole TB12 thing to kind of start off his own personal brand, according to this story, Tom Brady changed and clearly tried to exert a little more influence than perhaps many players thought he could, right? Because the story said that Brady kind of got up to a management type of level within the Patriots organization. So hardly a surprise. Hardly. Now, if you were just tuning in here on Facebook Live, this is the Cam Rogers Show on Chat Sports. You're following a developing story right now about tensions rising among Belichick, Brady, and Kraft, particularly between Belichick and Tom Brady in the future of the Patriots franchise.